New notification. DualSense wireless controller disconnected. Charge the battery.
Low tide. It's soft and full of water. At high tide, its tentacles remind you of a flower, and its foot looks like a stem. It's the common sea anemone, the red actinia. Just like the green anemone that is also found on the coast, its tentacles stick to whatever touches them. In fact, the slightest contact with a tentacle, and thousands of tiny cells, the cnidocytes, release their contents, tiny venomous harpoons, which ward off any danger or immobilize any prey. The paralyzed animal is swallowed through an orifice located at the center of the tentacles. Several hours later, the remains are evacuated by the same orifice, which is therefore both a mouth and an anus. There are many different species of anemone. They often look like flowers, which explains many of their names. This one is a carnation anemone. And this one's called a daisy anemone. The pearl or jewel anemone. The dahlia anemone and the strawberry anemone. This one is attached to an empty whelk shell, which is now home to a hermit crab or small shellfish. The hermit crab is looking for the bodies of any dead fish, and the anemone will feed on any leftovers. In return, the anemone uses its tentacles to protect the hermit crab. New anemones can be formed from the surface of a parent anemone, but they can also reproduce in other ways. Anemones can excrete genital products and form eggs. The red actinia's young develop inside the anemone and are spat out through its one and only orifice. Anemones don't have a left or a right side, nor do they have a back and a front. They're just a body attached to a foot and fitted with tentacles. It's known as a polyp and has 6 tentacles, or a multiple of 6 tentacles, that surround its one and only orifice. The stinging cells that cover the tentacles, the cnidocytes, are characteristic of creatures in this group, the cnidarians. These stinging tentacles remind us of jellyfish. Some of them can cause very serious burns. This is the common jellyfish, Aurelia. Its transparent tissues allow us to see its internal organs. It has stinging tentacles that are used to hold prey, as are the 4 arms that surround its single orifice. Swallowed prey ends up in the 4 clover-shaped stomachs. Jellyfish do everything in 4s. Their eggs are transformed into polyps. They're white to begin with, and they turn orange, splitting into a number of small jellyfish, which then break off. There they go. The surface of this seaweed is covered by a huge quantity of polyps. The colony grows by the lengthening and branching out of its axes that contain the polyps. Many cnidarians, in fact, live in colonies. In the deepest depth, we can see the white polyps of the Alcyonium or the Gorgonian sea fans. In this family, everything comes in 8s. But remember, certain creatures, bryozoans, worms, Oricidians can sometimes look like cnidarians, but none of these have venomous tentacles. Green hydra is one of the rare cnidarians to live in fresh water. In fact, 99% of the 10,000 species live in the sea. In tropical zones, they make up most of the coral reefs. These constructions are made up of a limestone envelope which protects the polyps from the species that live in colonies. It acts as a shelter for a wide variety of creatures. In some areas, at least 1,500 species of fish and over 4,000 mollusks. This biodiversity is threatened today as coral reefs are very sensitive to global warming and to human activities.